Hello there. You might be wondering, where on earth are we? Well, dear viewer, we are in a minefield. You see, I happen to be a League of Legends creator, and I do believe I have a good relationship with Riot Games, but right now, we are about to talk about a very sensitive topic. Not a topic that would be sensitive for developers who are actually making the games, but for any higher up, you would probably consider this very sensitive. Especially if you are overlooking any kind of an operation that would be going through the company, because yes, we are about to talk about AI. And even though Riot is not really known for doing it, it is a level of corporate topic that could get individuals into legal trouble. And I am not touching Riot's lawyers. So today we're about to talk about a big and dangerous leak that happened around Riot Games, but we are not gonna be mentioning any specifics. Because every single one of these topics is a mine that is about to take out my livelihood, and I would like to feed my family. So without further ado, let's dive into the wondrous world of AI in corporate gaming. And at the same time, let's try and give Riot some feedback on this awesome topic. You see, unfortunately, Riot has a history of stepping directly into AI mines. I mean, you might remember us mentioning Riot and AI in the past. But the catch is that, so far, Riot has never used generative AI themselves. So far, it has always been a contractor who decided that AI would be the best use of Riot's budget. For example, to celebrate 10 years of Latin America esports, Riot got a contractor to edit a trailer. And that contractor decided to use AI to turn the real viewers into League of Legends characters. Next, to celebrate Wild Rift's birthday, the Weibo account posted an AI cinematic, which was horrible. And the thing is that cinematic originated from Bilibili and it was meant to be shown only to the Chinese audience. And even though I've heard that this cinematic got criticism there too, I was in China for Worlds and I can tell you AI is everywhere there. So I'm not actually surprised this was attempted for China. But again, it was made by Tencent's contractor. Then there was also the incident on Netflix, where Arcane released, this image. Can you see what's wrong with this one? Well, first of all, once again, it wasn't actually Riot who did this. It was Netflix's editing, because they changed the poster format, they needed to fit a bigger image onto the screen, which is how this happened. Now, there are two ways how this one was likely approached. Either someone actually used AI, which would be horribly dumb, or they simply used the fill tool in Photoshop, which is a tool that has existed for many years before the invention of generative AI. It is a tool that simply calculates the color of the pixels around the image and fills in the rest. It is just math, and it looks like AI. And based on how this one messed up, yes, I do believe someone just didn't know how to use Photoshop. But it is just wishful thinking. And lastly, there was one more AI incident that came out with luck. Specifically, the Turkish community got its own event, which also had its own poster, and that poster looked like this. You got luck, which sure, by the time this poster was made, there weren't too many references, so perhaps there were some artistic liberties. Then there was Vayne, which pretty much copied the art of the official skin. Then we got Fiddlesticks. Now I know what you're thinking. Maybe the artist wanted to give us classic Fiddlesticks. But this poster was made 3 months before Classic was even announced. The idea of Classic was still locked somewhere behind a 5 feet thick steel wall. So this one was suspicious. After which we got Evelyn. Yeah. Now yes, this is where everyone, me included, brought in the AI accusations. I mean, there were things that already looked quite off, but then there was also the Evelyn, which wasn't Evelyn. But later, Riot released a video where they talked with the artist and they revealed that this was actually a real piece of art. After which people brought up that this artist had a history with AI, and in fact, if you look at the layers and what they are doing in the video with all the art, you might see that they are not doing anything, and the layers don't really make sense. So everyone jumped back onto the train. So truth be told, what the heck, man? And so once again, Riot didn't really have luck with AI. And that is the same kind of luck that stuck with Riot all the way until about 2 weeks ago. Which is where Riot had one of their biggest mess-ups yet. Because Riot's own AI agent went rogue. And this is where things are getting interesting. So, I'll admit, when it comes to the AI use in a corporate world, because I don't work for a corporation, I don't really know how far AI can go on this level. I understand when people use it for generative content, it is stealing, and I understand when people use it to answer emails or even shove emails into the AI and let it summarize it. But when corporations find ways for their AI agents to do everything, that's where things get confusing for me. But thankfully, after Riot's AI agent went rogue, I quickly understood. Because what their agent actually did is that it spit out a document into a public repository onto a GitHub. Meaning that everyone could publicly download this document and learn about what Riot was doing. Yes, the AI did all of this on its own. All hail AI, I guess. But thankfully, after a few hours, someone at Riot noticed that the AI was shoving things into the public and it got deleted. But it wasn't before people downloaded the documents. Which means, technically, all of this is public knowledge. So, there shouldn't be any legal trouble talking about it. But I am not touching Riot's lawyers anyway. So the question now is, how bad were the documents? Well, I'm not sure how to approach this, because there are multiple layers of seriousness. Simply said, we learned that Riot is using some kind of an AI agent that comments on Riot's projects. Meaning it talks about how well projects are going, what could be their future, what specific higher-ups think about specific projects. And so it is obvious that these documents were generated for whom you would consider a suit. Because it simply summarized how well the company is going forward. Which also might have potentially included teasers for future projects. Now, to be completely transparent, I didn't download all of these documents. I only got a small smidget because I needed context for what on earth was going on. And in the things that I saw, there weren't any future projectees there. But apparently the people who understand AI and they understand how all of this works, well, those people were able to find more things. Which is where all the scary stuff hides. And I'm not stepping into that shit. And so, purely for context, let me show you some of the lighter leaks that are still serious, because the AI still went rogue. Of course, these will be heavily censored because I'm not releasing any public information anywhere. And as you'll see, it is all gonna be focusing on the same topic. So, for example, one thing the AI spat out onto a public repository that was publicly available is the changelog documents focusing on products as well as their descriptions. One of these might have been a document design multi-model serving for. Now after this, it also gave us a very detailed description of what might be capable of, which was, arguably, impressive, but I'm not revealing more. And unfortunately, the majority of the other documents were leaning in the same direction. And so all together, again, avoiding all the sensitive topics, there was about 15 AI documents that leaked. All of which were littered with transcriptions of conversations. And so, from all of those publicly accessible lines, I'm gonna censor everything, but I do wanna show you my favorite line. So-and-so previously supportive, now asking why not do more for. Now, the reason why I am even bringing this up is not because I would like to shit on Riot. Again, my relationship with them has been pretty good, but right now you might be going into panic mode. Because it seems like Riot has gone completely unhinged with AI bros. But that's not really true. And so now we have to dive into the other side. As Riot previously mentioned, they are not interested in using AI in the creative space. They still want their artists to do the creative stuff. But they are interested in using AI as a connection between the teams. In fact, when the entire incident happened on Netflix, Riot immediately went public and they confirmed they do not want to use AI for creativity, specifically around Arcane. Other products were technically not mentioned. Anyway, the thing is that even before this nuclear leak, on our favorite leaking website, the Riot job listings, to check if any of this is actually real, all you have to do is type in 2 letters: AI. And yes, you can see that Riot is specifically looking for AI bros. Now, before you go ahead and say, well, actually, they are looking for people to use AI for NPC AI, or perhaps they use AI to write code and stuff. Well, that is the case for 2 of the 6 job listings. Ignoring the influencer manager. I have no idea why this one is here. But yes, the technical product manager and the software engineer use the normal AI, let's say. The one where you use it for debugging, you write code, stuff like that. But the other 4 positions here are specifically focusing on putting together an AI team. The biggest one of these is the principal machine learning engineer. And here, pay attention. As a principal machine learning engineer on the publishing platform data team, you will define and drive the modeling architecture that powers personalization, matchmaking, and social experiences across Riot's player ecosystem. You'll partner closely with product, data engineering, and software engineering to transform large-scale social graph, matchmaking, and behavioral data into adaptive, fair, and player-centric AI systems. Your work shapes how players connect, discover communities, and experience matchmaking that feels meaningful and equitable. As you can see, this is not actually a generative AI position, but it is a position that would like to use AI around the game experiences, which would also include matchmaking, as you can see in the responsibilities. I also find it funny how you need 10 years of experience with machine learning, even though machine learning really blew up about 5 years ago. But yes, I guess that is what you get when you get paid more than $500,000 with all the benefits. But things get a bit more scary when you look at the other positions. For example, there is the principal software engineer, AI establishment. This position pretty much confirmed that Riot does have a dedicated AI team. And here I just wanted to go through one line. You will embed directly with any team at Riot to accelerate their adoption of modern AI development, e.g. generative AI, large language models, reinforcement learning. So yes, this is specifically a position that is supposed to convert devs into using modern AI tools. And yes, generative AI is mentioned. Although remember, generative AI also counts code generation. So it could also mean just good old vibe coding. But as of right now, Riot is yet to use proper generative AI. Yet. Although this one also gets us into perhaps the scariest of these positions, which is Principal Technical Product Manager, AI Central Product, where their responsibilities reveal what is going on here. Assess Riot's product landscape and identify high-impact opportunities where AI can enhance development or player experience. Develop and align generative strategy for critical product areas, prioritizing outcomes that can create measurable value. See, now I understand, because we are talking about a corporation, and a corporation's work is to chase profit. But it still sounds kinda evil, doesn't it? I mean, to explain this, they are looking for a person that would look at Riot's products and say, yes, this one needs more AI. In fact, if we use AI here, we will get a measurable impact. In other words, what is not happening is that there would be a problem and Riot would realize that AI could be the solution. No, here what is happening is that they have AI as a solution, and now they are looking for the problems to solve with it. Which anyone with any kind of a business degree would tell you that this is a solution-first thinking which is usually used for pushing technologies, where you make a technology and then you are desperately looking for application. But the longer you search, the more money you use, and so at the end you just brute force it somewhere. Which is how new technologies usually go bankrupt. Now, I don't believe that Riot Games can go bankrupt after not finding use for their AI, but this surely doesn't look like a good approach. But this then brings up the final part, which might be the most important message to remember: the public perception and Riot's plans with it. You see, one thing that happened when all of these leaks got out is that people obviously tweeted about it. And while I'm not gonna show specific names for safety, with a bit of digging you'll notice that there were quite a few former rioters who liked those tweets. Meaning that as some of the layoffs were happening, is it possible that partially it all happened because they weren't really aligned with AI? And so the more AI-oriented people stayed. It is a tinfoil hat theory, but quickly going back to the job listings, yes, there is also a position where someone should be using AI to check on staff data, which definitely makes it feel like we are in cyberpunk. Also, as the chaos unfolded, some people, for example Pixelbud, who is doing incredible things for the community, which includes storing every version of League of Legends that ever existed. How does this guy not work for Riot? I don't know. But they were among the people who discovered the repositories, and they freaked out about the content. They refused to leak anything themselves because the things they found were actually scary. After which they pointed out a funny thing. Whoever was handling the AI obviously made a mistake with making the repositories public, but also apparently the AI model is based on Claude, and since all the documents in them were made public, the AI was trained on these. Meaning, after all the data gets crunched, it is possible that you may ask Claude about Riot's products, and it may reveal something secret. In fact, this is actually what happened with Gemini after it crunched a bunch of secret Google documents. People were able to find games that were yet to be announced. All hail AI! And that brings us to the last light at the end of the AI tunnel, which is the one person in charge of Riot's AI. And man, Riot better cherish that person because they are saving Riot's entire reputation. We are talking about Brandon Newligan, the head of the experimental AI at Riot Games. Now, 2 months ago they announced the position and already they got bombarded with skepticism, obviously. But what you should really focus on is the replies, because in every single one of these, they confirm that they are really just going through an experimental phase. They will try a few things, and if they don't work out, they are going back. Valid response, keep the feedback coming as you see what we make. If it sucks, we will stop. With perhaps the most valuable reply being them talking about generative AI. Riot's special sauce has always been insane creative talent. The last thing I want to do is kill that spirit. You can help keep us honest, but I think we will be able to honor them with providing new experiences that genuinely benefit players. So yes, it does not seem like Riot wants to do anything with generating assets. They still want artists to do their thing, but they are trying to see if AI can be used for gameplay experiences, which is still a scary thing. Because I'll be honest, I do not believe AI really has an application in gaming yet. I mean, sure, it absolutely helps with writing code and debugging, but when it comes to design, well, AI was made with the idea to give you the most generic thing possible. By design, it is incapable of giving you a unique design. It will always copy something that already exists. Every big success that happens in gaming is a unique take on something that already exists. So the human element is still irreplaceable. And so when it comes to the current operations with AI, Man, it really seems like we have quite a few AI bros here. And they all need to realize that after the public figures out that you are using AI, it does make you look cheap. And so the moment you pivot heavily into AI, you're gonna lose a lot of players. The only way someone could actually possibly counteract that would be to actually release a great game. Because yes, if someone actually manages to do that, there's gonna be a lot of average Joes who won't care about AI and they will only care about enjoying a game. But right now, it really doesn't seem like AI can do anything remotely close to that. And so, I am ready to eat my words. But so far, everything AI touches turns to shit. And so, we should be happy that Riot didn't go this hard on NFTs.